Root, raw, and unfiltered.
All right, we are back. Sorry about the gloom and doom so far tonight here on this Good Friday. I mean, we should be celebrating hope, but you look at the upside-down country that we're living in right now, and you feel like it's nothing but despair. Despair everywhere. You've got just a complete breakdown of leadership from the top down. And if you look at the remarkable social transformation that has occurred in America in the last half century, and in particular in the last couple of years, which it's been remarkable what we've gone through. The Biden administration continues to lurch from one crisis to another. Rampant inflation, Afghanistan, the southern border, this rising national debt, bank collapses now are the new thing. Of course, Ukraine, China. Beneath the surface, there's racial tension, which I know racial tension has always been there, but it's been aggravated. It's been amped up, right? A fire has been lit by Biden and his divisiveness. The left-leaning media, America has this left-leaning diabolical group which wants to promote racial hellholes as if somehow we are the only nation in the history of this planet that has ever had a slave or ever had any racial tensions whatsoever. And they want to beat that into you with a sledgehammer. They want you to believe that white supremacy in America is our original sin. And they want to equate segregation to this microaggression that we do, this racial microaggression that we're going through right now. And for me, when it comes to the racial construct of this country, all you've got to do is ask yourself an honest question. Are you a racist? Do you believe that because of the color of your skin, you're either better or inferior to somebody else? And you answer that question honestly, and that should be the end of the story, right? And I guarantee you, everybody listening to me right now, they answer that question honestly. They know they're not a racist. Yes, there are racists in this country, no question about that. But most of those folks, those uneducated, bigot-driven folks, they've got their own agendas. And they're not listening to conservative talk radio. They don't want any part of it. I'm talking right now to middle America, mom and dad America, who get up every day, fill a kid's lunchbox, send them off to school, fill their own lunchbox, go to work, and try to make ends meet and put food on the table. And those folks who I'm talking to need to know that the history of race in America is not what race baiters on the left would have you believe. Slavery was not a creation in the United States. African slaves were imported to North America by European colonial powers long before the Revolutionary War. And many more African blacks were sent to the Caribbean or South America, and there were white slaves traded as well. No other nation on earth, by the way, no other nation faced the challenges and obstacles faced by the United States by exercising itself from the bonds of slavery. I have said this 1,000 times on the air. America is the least racist nation on earth. I've been published columns written about this topic, and there have been other outlets who won't print it because they find it too offensive, too in your face. Well, it is in your face. We are the least racist country on earth. You realize fighting for the freedom of folks of a different color cost Americans 600,000 lives in the Civil War. And America has devoted billions, maybe trillions of dollars by the time it's all said and done, to problems associated with race. Cash payments to minorities, affirmative action in education and employment. No other nation on earth has devoted as much resource, as much time, as much effort as the United States to rectifying any racial wrongs of the past. And yet, through all of this, through the gains that we made every single day for the last 50 years, the mainstream media and social media and the progressive left are doing everything that they can to undo what's happened in the last half century. Let me say this again so it's crystal clear to the entire country. The United States is the least racist nation on earth. You can make an argument that it's the least racist country in the history of our planet. Whenever there seems to be injustices, whether manufactured or real, the United States will move mountains to rectify those injustices. With each passing generation, the very idea that people are judged solely by their skin color fades. Academia hides behind phrases like social justice or diversity or inclusion or cultural responsive teaching. Any dissenting opinion, like mine, like yours, is always viewed through the lens of bigotry. Even black Americans like Senator Tim Scott or Justice Clarence Thomas, Candace Owens for that matter, who have publicly chastised things like critical race theory are dismissed by the Democrats as suck-up Uncle Toms. Imagine marginalizing these individuals who are trying to champion a cause that they fully believe in. Marginalizing these black Americans who are speaking up and saying, no, racism isn't happening like you're saying it's happening. Why would they do it if they didn't believe it wasn't true? Here's the truth. America's getting browner. Whether you like it or not, America is getting browner. And within 100 years or so, the overall skin color of this country will be different. It'll be very different than what you see right now. And the United States is in self-correct mode. This ultra slow process of reshaping the perception of race to demonize individuals for the sins of their fathers or their father's father will only delay the inevitable. We are getting browner. And because of that, racism left unchecked and unsupervised will eventually vanish. But injecting racial animus into everyday life will only perpetuate this feeling, make it last longer. Whatever underlying tension that exists because of the color of somebody's skin that's ramped up more often than not by folks who consider themselves left of center, they're the reasons. They're why racism lives and breathes today. Again, left unchecked, it will fade into oblivion. The progressives, they dream about the creation of a color-conscious society, one in which people are defined solely by the color of their skin or what sex they identify with. That's a progressive mindset. You're judged by who you sleep with and what color you are, not by who you are, but what color you are. Not by who you sleep with, but your actions. See, conservatives would love to eliminate the shackles of color, and I dream about judging someone on the content of their character. Yeah, I stole that from Martin Luther King. Morgan Freeman has the best outlook of anyone that I've ever heard on this topic from a black man's perspective. And many years ago, he appeared on 60 Minutes. And Mike Wallace asked him a very simple set of questions.
Black History Month, you find
ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
There's really nothing else I could add to that. That exchange, those two men encapsulate exactly what I've been talking about on the radio for 20 plus years. It is going away if we let it go away. Racism existed, there's no question about it, and it still exists. But with each generation, it will get phased out. It'll eventually be such a small, uber minority of folks who look at somebody's skin color and judge them on it that it'll be completely inconsequential. Keep feeding the fire, and it'll keep burning. I got to take a quick break. My name is Lee Elci. We'll come right back. You're listening to the USA Audio Network.